Hello, hello, and welcome back to another episode of Mode 7, the show where we play games and talk about it. I am your host, Sergmanx, and joining me today is, I guess, this Monkey Man guy. Yo, what's up, dude?
Hey, what's up, Surge Man? Yeah, this is this Monkey Man dude. How are you?
I'm fantastic. What are we talking about today?
Today we're talking about Mega Man 10.
Mega Man N?
No, 10.
Uh, it's not 10, actually.
Yeah, it's Mega
It's just,
Man 10
it's
in
just
Roman
X.
numerals.
X has nothing to do with 10. It's just the letter X.
No, get out of here.
The
Don't tell me
X,
that.
it's true. The Mega Man X is not Mega Man 10. It has nothing to do with the Mega Man Classic series. It's its own thing.
I thought it was Roman numerals for 10.
No, but X looks like the Roman numeral for 10, so it's fitting for the 10th episode, even though it's not actually 10.
Well, it's a surprise. That's pretty
Yes.
cool. So, yeah, you put me onto this game. You want to tell me a little bit about it?
So, Mega Man X, easily, without a doubt, is one of my favorite games of all time. It was actually the first Mega Man game I ever played. I got it for Christmas when I was a kid. Opened it up and I became a fan of the franchise ever since then. So I am curious, with that being said, what did you think of Mega Man X?
You know, I thought it was a really great game. Ever from the start, it was really cool. It's a nice Metroidvania platformer side scroller.
Metroidvania?
Yeah.
No.
How is it not?
How is that a Metroidvania?
Okay, it's basically the same thing as Metroid, except more cartoony and a different character.
Mm, no, I disagree with that.
Okay, how? You shoot a
Metroidvania is
blaster.
a open
You shoot
map
a
system where you travel across all these different sections, backtracking, collecting new items to allow you to reach new areas. Mega Man X doesn't have any of that. You go from point A to
that
point B, you fight a
no
boss,
no
get their
you were wrong.
weapon.
You're completely wrong.
How am I?
So
What? How am I wrong? Metroidvania. You played
because what
Metroid
you
Fusion once, and you're like, "Oh man, I'm a Metroidvania expert."
in both games you start out shooting a blaster. In both games you have an armored suit. In both games you upgrade things. You have to get energy tanks in both of them. You upgrade your
Okay.
heart container in both of them. And sometimes you need to beat the boss and find an upgrade. I don't know what it's called, like the upgrade portal type thing in Mega Man. And then once you get the upgrades, now you might have to go back to other levels to go to spaces you weren't able to reach previously and get those upgrades. So it's not
Well,
as linear as
no,
you're
but
talking about it. There's a
that
lot of
doesn't define it
backtracking.
as a Metroidvania because you don't even need to do any of that. Metroidvania games, it's mandatory. You need upgrades to proceed through the game. Mega Man X, you can literally the only forced upgrade you have to get is the dash in Chill Penguin stage, and besides that, like you don't ever have to get a heart tank. You don't need a sub tank. Um, you don't need the other body upgrades. There's been runs on YouTube where people don't do any of that and they beat the game. So nothing is besides the dash. Nothing is forced. So it's not a Metroidvania. The world isn't interconnected. All the levels are separated. That's not a Metroidvania. I know I totally get what you're saying, but
Okay, fair enough.
but speaking upon that, I love the fact that when you start the game, you know, you're jumping around, you're shooting these enemies on the highway, and then you come across the first boss, Vile. He kind of looks like Boba Fett, which I think that's awesome. And you cannot win the fight. You're fighting him, and you're just like, well, how come I can't damage him? and then he essentially defeats you. He's about to kill you, and then you see Zero. He blasts the arm off Vile's war mech, and then from there you see, oh wow, Zero is he's so powerful. Like how do I get strong like him? You know. So Zero tells you, you haven't reached your full potential yet. And then from there, as you travel along these 8 stages, you defeat the boss, and you get their weapon. And what's cool about Mega Man X is it kind of, just like the classic series, it adopts a rock, paper, scissors formula in which each weapon is a weakness to one of the bosses. So for first-time players, trying to figure out who's weak against what is pretty challenging, because some of these Mavericks, they're pretty hard, such as Launch Octopus, and I would say Armored Armadillo without their weakness. I mean, you could totally beat every boss without their weakness, but I think for me, those two... Oh, and Sting Chameleon, I think those 3 were the hardest.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, so this game, it starts you out with, you get to choose your path, which is quite interesting, and it seemed like the natural way for me to do it was starting with the Launch Octopus, and man, yeah, he was difficult. So I think partially because I have zero experience playing the game, he was difficult, but also it just seems like his moves in general were difficult. Plus, like you said, you didn't really get any of the upgrades or anything at that time. So I struggled with him quite a bit. Yeah, the Chameleon was pretty tough, the Armadillo. The other ones really weren't that difficult. But yeah, I mean, the game's definitely a lot of fun to play. I like the blaster. I like that you could slide down vertical walls, and you could constantly like double jump, I guess you could say, off of the vertical walls. You don't need to get an upgrade for that. It's just something that he has the ability to do from the start, which is really cool. Yeah, the enemies were relatively easy to take down. It was nothing like that was too crazy where you're like, oh man, this part's really difficult right here. Like it all had like a pretty similar level of difficulty throughout the level, no matter which level you went on.
Yeah, for sure. The stages themselves, I wouldn't say they were overly difficult. I think the difficulty was just right, which made backtracking, because there's a lot of backtracking to get hard tanks, sub tanks, and definitely the armor upgrades, which I like, because it really feels like X is getting really strong as you progress, as you backtrack and get these upgrades, such as like the body upgrade where you take half damage. Although some of them were kind of useless, like the head upgrade where you just smash blocks like on the ceiling. Like that's only useful in like 1 or 2 instances. But I think the best upgrade though
but
is
it was also
the
useful so you
X-Buster, because you're able to charge the boss weapons for additional effects,
right,
which I think was really cool.
Yeah, that was huge. And then like when you upgrade them for additional effects, like you said, it's just it's more than just a higher power, like your Mega Buster. Your Mega Buster, like the upgrade, sure, it has like a wider spread because it's like the 2 purple interlacing beams there, and it's more powerful. But yeah, the like especially the Ice Blaster, I think it's called Ice Shotgun,
or Shotgun Ice, or
not
something.
mistaken. But yeah, like something like that. Yeah, how you could release a platform of ice that then like skids across the ground of the level, and it takes out enemies. The whole thing's pretty cool. But yeah, the head upgrade was definitely useful, especially for one part, which you could only get this certain upgrade with the smashing the blocks with the head upgrade.
Right, like it was useful, well, mandatory to get other upgrades. But I guess for me, compared to the body armor, reducing damage by half, and then the X-Buster upgrade, and especially the dash, like it's kind of like they really didn't know what to do with it to really enhance like X in a, like, I guess, a combat sense. But I mean,
Right.
it is what it is. It completes the armor set. I think he looks cool when he's fully upgraded.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like if they're gonna do something like that with the head upgrade, they could have had more like Easter eggs or like hidden, random blocks, almost like in Mario. It's like sometimes you'll just jump and there will be a block there that was previously invisible, or sometimes you'll jump and you'll break blocks, but then sometimes you'll jump and you'll hit a block that actually has coins in it or something. I feel like Mega Man, they could have done that a little bit more with the head upgrade, maybe make some secret passages a little bit more like Metroid, and not a ton of them, but maybe just like two, throughout the whole game, just something that was maybe two more, I should say, than there were already.
Well, they have Well, it doesn't involve really the head upgrade, but I guess you do need it to get this. There's actually a secret in the game. So are you familiar with your Street Fighter, right?
Mm-hmm.
The character Ryu?
Oh, yeah, I thought it was Ryu.
Ryu, sorry. Apparently, you can unlock his Hadouken ability, right?
Oh, yeah, I saw some YouTube videos on that.
Yeah, it's cool. You can, kill any boss in one shot if you perform the Hadouken, which I think that's really cool.
Oh, I didn't realize it was that simple. I didn't realize it was that powerful.
It is.
Yeah,
You have to have full health to use
get.
it. So if you get hit, you cannot do the Hadouken. But if you have full health and you use the Hadouken, you can kill the final boss in one hit.
Uh-huh. Now, one of the things, I just feel like maybe Mega Man did it correctly, but I feel like it takes too long to fully charge the Mega Buster.
Yeah, I guess that's a little bit. That maybe that was purposely done so you can use the items more, or the weapons, I should say.
So how often did you use, there are multiple stages that you could charge the Mega Buster. There's no charge, which is just the regular blast. I don't really know what it's called. And then there's a medium one, which is like a green plasma-ish attack. And then you have the full one, which is like the blue. And then obviously you have the upgraded, which is like the purple. Which one did you find using the most?
Well, I think I could be wrong. I should know this too, but I think when you get the fully upgraded Mega Buster, I think your charge time is cut down a little bit, if I'm not mistaken. But okay. I would always go for the purple when I would, especially when I would beat some bosses later on. I feel like I would charge that to get a bigger spread. I found that pretty useful. But before that, I would always charge to blue.
Oh, okay. And then, so the bosses aside, throughout the level, it's are you mostly running around with your Mega Buster charged, or are you mostly,
yeah, I feel
just
when I'm
tapping?
shooting, I'll always hold down the charge button as I'm walking or dashing, so it's ready when I get to an enemy, and I can just
right.
blow through multiple at once.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. And then so, what was your favorite ability that you gained from the bosses?
Oh, geez, that's tough. I think I don't remember the weapon name, but Sting Chameleon's weapon. It's it shoots these 3 green projectiles.
Oh, I hated that one.
You
but you know what? That
one.
makes sense.
It's incredibly useful, especially when you charge it, you become invincible.
Yeah,
so you can
but it's only
walk
for
over spikes and stuff.
Okay, yeah, but the invincibility is only for maybe 2 seconds. It's very short. And on top of that, you can't attack at all while you're invincible mode.
Well, no, but I would use that to get certain items such as 1-ups, especially in the later stages. And then there's in the Sigma stage 1 when you're wall jumping and there's a whole bunch of enemies in the shaft, I guess. And it's just overwhelming, so I would just use the Sting Chameleon, charge up, and quickly get to the top and avoid every single enemy.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
What about you?
I really love the boomerang. So I just feel like it's very useful. It covered a good area, and you could release like 5 of them or whatever. It doesn't matter. There wasn't like a limit. It's not like it was only one boomerang and then it has to wait to come back to you. And they'll keep circulating in the air until they hit something or you collect them. And I like how you get them back. You could recollect them. If it hits an enemy, then it does damage to the enemy and then it takes one away from your inventory. But if it doesn't hit an enemy and you recollect it, then it just goes back into your inventory. So it's like it's very useful.
Yeah, that was pretty useful. I like that. If it didn't do anything, it basically recharged your or didn't take away your weapon energy. Like you got it back.
Yeah.
Now,
And then I like the fire, like just in general, I like fire stuff. It didn't reach very far, which was a bit of a detriment with using the fire one. But man, some of the enemies, like the fire thing, killed it really quick, like the turtles and stuff. And there's these in the penguin level. There's like this bunker when you're in the ice, and you have to use the flame to destroy that to get one of the upgrades. I don't know if it was a body armor upgrade or what it was, but yeah, the fire was pretty decent too.
now, did you notice that most of the stages, right? By you defeating a boss in another stage, some of the other stages were altered as a result. Did you notice that at all, or not really?
No, I didn't notice that.
So, for example, right, if you defeat Chill Penguin first, right, and then you go to Flame Mammoth stage now becomes iced over. So a lot of those fire hazards are gone.
Oh, wow.
Then if you defeat Storm Eagle, right, and then you go to Spark Mandrill stage, when you start the level, the airship that you fought Storm Eagle on is crashed into Spark Mandrill stage, and then the electric is gone. And then, like, I think if you defeat Launch Octopus before going to Sting Chameleon stage, Sting Chameleon stage becomes flooded in certain areas.
And that allows you to get another upgrade because it's flooded, right?
Which I think is really cool. And I don't think another game in the X series like really did that aside from some elements of Mega Man X3, but X1 really went all in on that, and I think that was really cool. So just to see how each of the stages, for the most part, affects others.
Yeah, that really is cool. You know what that reminds me of?
Mm-hmm.
Metroid.
Oh
Like
my
with
god! I hope you
Metroid.
get roasted in the comments, man. This guy doesn't know.
Come on, that doesn't remind. That's exactly what you do in Metroid 2, though. Like sometimes, like there's like lava or something, and then you have to go to some other level, which would like release water and cool down the lava, so you could walk across it, or you have to get a certain upgrade, and then it lets you walk in the water, and jump in the water as if the water's not holding you down, and then you could reach other sections. That doesn't remind you at all of Metroid.
Listen, man. You'll never convince me that Mega Man X is a Metroidvania. It's just not. Nobody's gonna agree with you on that.
That's fine. All right, so the Metroidvania style of category of game aside, so all right, fine, I'll agree with you. It's not a Metroidvania, but in general, just in that aspect of the gameplay, doesn't that and the upgrades and a little bit of backtracking, even though it's optional in Mega Man and mandatory in Metroid, there's quite a big connection, though. No.
No, I see what you're saying. So I'll meet you in the middle on that one.
Okay.
So
what didn't you like about the game?
We'll say again.
What didn't you like about the game?
There's really not much. I can't really think of anything I actively dislike because I think this has to be like my second favorite game of all time. But if I have to look at it in a critical way, I think them forcing you to get the dash is like... I think they should have made that not mandatory, I guess. They should have, like, tucked that away, like the other upgrades, so you have to, like, find it.
Okay.
But they did fix that. They remade Mega Man X on the PSP, and they fixed that issue. They put it somewhere where you have to find... But we're talking about the original game. Probably that. I mean, it's not like a huge deal. It's like barely like a problem. I think that's the only thing I can really knock against the game. Like I can't I can't think of anything else I actively didn't like about Mega Man X. I just think it was a like really well crafted game. I love the music, the graphics. I mean, I guess there's some slowdown, but that's common amongst a lot of Super Nintendo games at that time.
Now, what system did you play it on? Because I played it on Nintendo Switch. They had a download
So I
pack.
played it on Super Nintendo.
Oh, okay. Because interesting enough, on the Switch, there's three different modes you could play it on. You could play it on like the updated graphics, or you could play it on like 16-bit, or you could put it on 8-bit. I don't think I'm saying that correctly. I think one of them is like CRT monitor mode, where it's like the lines running horizontally through it to make it look like you're playing it on an old school monitor.
Yeah,
One of them is like the original 8-bit, and then one of
16-bit.
them is like the upgraded. Yeah, yeah, I guess 16-bit. Right, right, right. So like that was kind of cool. It gave you the option to choose. A couple of things I loved about the game is it would like save the checkpoints for you. It didn't have save states, which I'm generally a fan of, just because I like the games to be easy. Like I'm not a big player, but like it was fine. The checkpoints were good enough, and then there was like unlimited continues. So like yeah, you could get extra lives, but if you use all your lives, it doesn't matter. Like you could just re-continue, and then I think a continue means you have to restart the level. But that was pretty good. One of the things I really loved was depending on which power you had activated at the time, if you were standing near a 1-up, the 1-up icon would change to match your power and the suit that you were wearing at the time. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was a cool touch. I liked how they
And
did
then
that.
I noticed I was trying to fight the boss. I never beat the boss yet. The actual after you beat the animal bosses, there's like I guess a human type boss.
Hmm.
I haven't beat him yet. Now I noticed that was one things I really had difficulty with, because that one, it seemed like there weren't any checkpoints. It was like once if you fought the boss and you lost, you wouldn't go back to the doors right before the boss to fight him again. It's like, no, you have to do the level over with like these platforms with the propellers on them, and you have to try to get up there with like the enemies attacking you. And that reminded me very much of that section in Little Nemo. I don't know if you remember, but like you're playing as the ape, and then
That
you have
part
to climb the
sucks. I
tree
hate it.
branch. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But like this getting up there on these platforms with the enemies there reminded me very much of that scene.
So how far exactly did you get?
I fought that boss, but I never beat him. That's as far as I
So
got.
you only got to the first Sigma stage, right?
If that's what it's called, yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay, yeah. So basically, you refight all the bosses again, right?
Mm.
All the bosses you defeated throughout the stage, you're gonna refight them. So there's 3 stages, right?
Mm.
You'll go through all the platforms. You'll have a rematch with Vile, the guy from the beginning of the game that like owned you.
Mm.
You'll fight him, and you still can't damage his armor. Zero, who he has captured, will break out of his like containment and hop on him, basically sacrificing his life. He will
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Okay, so you got there.
Yeah.
Wait, so you couldn't beat him though, right? Or you did?
No, I don't think I beat him. I think that cutscene is like before him, or like
Okay.
right when you get to him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
because you start attacking him, and then you're doing zero damage because he's too strong, and then Zero like takes off his arm, then he comes out of the armor, and then Zero's captured, and then you start attacking him.
Yeah. So after you beat him, right? Because his weakness was like the rolling cutter, not the rolling cutter, the rolling shield. I'm sorry. You'll beat him, and then you'll go on to fight Boomer Kawanger, and then this spider boss. Then the next stage, same thing. You'll go through an area. You'll refight like Chill Penguin, Storm Eagle, and then uh, a unique boss for that stage. And then the third level, you fight the rest of the Mavericks you didn't kill, and then another unique boss, and then the next level is the final boss. All right, so I feel like we've talked pretty extensively about Mega Man X. Is there any closing thoughts you have on the game?
No, I mean, overall, I just really liked the game. I thought it was very simple. I thought it wasn't too challenging, but it also definitely wasn't boring. I liked how they split it up into so many different stages and you get all these different powers and I mean everything. It was definitely an A+ game. I thought it was really cool.
Absolutely, like the amount of different ways you can approach the game. You can either, start at Chill Penguin. You want to start there first, or go to Storm Eagle and just beat the bosses in different orders, or even like if you want to beat the game without using any weaknesses, no upgrades. I think there's a lot of like opportunity for challenges or challenge runs, I should say. I think the game level difficulty wasn't too difficult, like enough for like newcomers to be turned away with the weapon mechanic and the bosses being weak to each other's weapons. I enjoyed the final boss. I thought he was pretty challenging. When I was a kid, it took me like years to beat him because he was so difficult. But yeah, easily Mega Man X is one of my favorite games of all time, and I recommend it to everybody. If you enjoyed this episode of Mode 7, give it a like and comment below your thoughts on today's topic. Please consider subscribing to the channel and hit that bell to be notified when the next Sergmanx video drops. Have a good day and peace out.